Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So guess what? The rally's back on. Anyway, we gapped up and we made highs earlier in the day, drifted, and then closed somewhat well. Overall, we've had a pretty lethargic slash soggy start to the year that everyone keeps focusing on, but overall, there's been a lot of individual stock plays that are perking up, that are going, that are breaking out. So hopefully you're not lost in the indices. And, from what you saw today, entries and exits still matter. I'm just going to start rolling through some stuff. If you look here at the chart of the SPX, this was, that last little red dog reversal. You come all the way up. This was that accelerated or ascending channel. First day of the year, broke to the downside. Yesterday held above the 21-day and the prior highs. And then today, pretty strong day. Not that powerful, but definitely, closed a little bit above this 2-day peak, penetrated into this wide range bar, negating some of the power. And, from what I see across the board, I do see some more strength and weakness, but it's a little erratic. You go to Google, look at that clean breakout. Boom. I don't know, what was it, a few days ago on CNBC, some analyst is like, yeah, well, it's going up in a bearish trend. What is a bearish trend? Anyway, with that being said, big gap up here from earnings. This one with best in breed held 1,021, and there you go, closing on the highs. Amazon, after a little weakness yesterday, still, building, nothing much to talk about there. Netflix was your problem. Netflix, we talked about, the breaking of this accelerated uptrend right here. That was signal number one. Then you had to move lower, then it hovered down here. That's a bear flag. Yesterday, tried to continue below, couldn't really get that much momentum, but was more of a short than a long, and then boom. Okay, so now where is it? It's a little bit above the 100-day. Stock has lost go-to status. It lost go-to status right there. And, hopefully you made some money short there. If I were you, I probably would have covered a little bit, with just the way Netflix moves. That's a pretty big down move. Yesterday we talked about the red dog reversal, I believe, in Priceline, Facebook, and Apple. Priceline wound up giving you a great day too. Look at Priceline. I didn't really touch it. I chose the wrong one, but here is your red dog reversal in Priceline. Traded down, closed back above the prior low of 1131. There's your day two. Really nice, action into the moving averages. Good job if you chose that one. If you chose Apple, probably a bit frustrated. I guess you could say it's decent. It's an inside day. I would have rather have seen it close better. To me, I'm having a little hard time with this stock ever since the China Mobile news, and it couldn't hold 562. That was one spot, to get out of the way, I guess. And then when it couldn't hold, I remember actually taking home long this. I thought it was back on track, and then I got hurt, and then got stopped out there. And then yesterday, nice day trade, nice entry, and now today it looks like it's still not ready yet. I guess it's still building this descending channel. We'll know in the next few sessions what the story is there. Right now, it's still showing some relative weakness. As far as other stocks, lots of past IPOs from last year that are pretty thin, perking up. Some guys were talking about this FEYE. Look at that move, unbelievable. That's why you get excited about new issues that come public, because they can turn into something like that. That is some heck of a move. Look at this WUBA. Guys were talking about that one. Look at this new issue. Okay, came public here. Entry one came in, came back, retested. Then it broke above right there, and now it's going again. So you could find a lot of really nice winners from new issues from the prior year. You just got to do your homework because it's a little bit more volatile / risky, but you get really nice movement. Another one I think Steve LeVay was talking about towards the close was this CUDA. These are like funny names, but still, nothing funny about making money. And look at these guys who are following the 8-day. Look at this nice breakout there. Another bull flag type pattern here. It looks like this can continue if it wants to. As far as the financials came in today, Citigroup was upgraded. I was like, this is day 4 of the financial move. If I were you, I would not just start a new position in these financials here. I'd probably trim and trail. And if you look what happened here, Goldman wound up leading it a little bit lower. It got downgraded by SocGen or whatever they're called. And again, still holding above the 8-day, not that troublesome. Above where it broke out from, but this brought in some sellers. Okay, brought in some sellers in Bank of America. Everyone's like, oh, you worried about today's action in Bank of America? Or I saw a headline, what's wrong with the financials? Look at this move from here, okay? 4 days up, what's wrong with the financials? Yes, you had a small little red dog reversal that if you bought, in here and added to tier 2 or tier 3 and sold some, yes, that's a sell signal, but, if you sell all your Bank of America and it goes sideways, chances are you might miss the next move, and I do think there'll be another move. So for me, I sold a little strength. I bought back a little bit near the close around, the 1650, and I do think let the 8-day catch up at some point. I really don't think it gets here, but it might. You can accumulate again for what could be better action. Citigroup, which was the one that was upgraded, held in decently. It made a high here, came in. So we were talking on the virtual trading floor about selling some. If you did, you could always maneuver around, and it's got to let the moving averages catch up. But ultimately, it broke above a very key level, and as long as it holds above that 53.5, I think it's okay. We've been talking about Tesla. Okay, what's going to happen here with Tesla? Okay, at this point, it's still pretty darn choppy, and it's pretty tight, where it's getting tighter. Okay, we've talked about the trend line from last year that wound up giving us really nice movement to the upside for the majority of the year. Then it broke. Here was the earnings, and then this is when it caught its footing and then traded a little bit better. And Tesla is getting tight here. I messed up this trade. I bought it in the hole, and then I started to get a little aggressive, thinking it was going to trade above this prior high, and it didn't. It did close okay. I would say above 150.40 with some volume. Maybe it continues. You then even have another downtrend coming in right around there. So, I'm in it, and I think that it can continue. I guess if it were to break to the downside, it would have to break below this. So we'll see what happens. Some news with AT&T, getting wired in the cars, blah, blah, blah. We'll see what the action is in the next day or so there. With that being said, we also talked a little bit about some of these other names, just trying to find ideas. This NDLS, that was something we talked about many times last year. It kind of broke to the downside. Everyone tried to give it. I tried trying this a few times. I remember it was horrendous up here. Broke to the downside, and now, it did break this little downtrend right there, and it held it today. Could be a potential day one for a continuation back into the moving averages. So we shall see. At this point, I am in some of that too. Just remember that if you want to see what I'm in, if you look later when the recap is attached to the write-up, you'll see at the bottom what I'm in. So, for all disclaimers, you'll see what I'm long or short or whatnot. So with this one, we'll see. Also go to, I guess, some oil names. TSO, it's a really nice pattern. I bought it today a little late. I guess you could be in tier 1, and if this finally starts to get moving above this little area, perhaps it can go. You look at VLO, which I guess is, this is the leader. Look at this move that this has had into new highs. I know this is more of a laggard, but at least it's tight. So here, if you want to be in a tier 1, tier 2 is when it goes. Yesterday, we started talking about some of the cloud / networkers / whatever you want to put them in the category on. So last night or in the morning note, you saw I was long RHAT and VMW. Those actually worked out pretty darn well. Look at this trade in VMW. This is actually in our 2014 thesis. Unfortunately, it didn't wait and went, and now I guess we'll see. It's got to hang above this and maybe get another day. But all in all, very nice move if you were in VMW. You had to think quickly and fast if you wanted to buy more. RHAT also talked about in the morning call today. Nice gap up after earnings, consolidation, follow through. That's a nice tactic from a lot of our educational courses. Looks really good. Should continue or can continue. And then there are some little guys. I got to tell you, some guys on the side were all over this plug way back when. Look at this move and plug. I remember it didn't trade enough volume. I wasn't allowed to buy it in here, and now look at it. So this BLDP, kind of interesting. Big wide range, huge day. You want to talk about volume, you put volume in there. Just for a very speculative guy, huge volume. So you would think that this can continue if it wants to. I guess let's see the weekly chart on this. Has room. I remember this one from back in the day, and maybe with all the electric stuff, it's ready to go. We'll see. Big volume, so perhaps it can go. I guess when you have something like a plug go, everyone's looking for what's next, and this is some hefty volume, and who knows, maybe this even plug can get all the way up to, this 7 area. We shall see. But those things are very speculative, so just be a little careful. I know Sperling's been trying to play this dries, and it's, I guess we'll see what happens here. It did have a controlled pullback into the 21-day. That's been holding it. I would say as long as it stays above, this 399-ish, okay, I think you could stay with it. And then at some point, if it were to break this little trend line to the upside, it can continue. But again, this is sort of laggardish, so just be careful. Zynga, people have been asking about it all day, and I don't know why I got back involved. I guess I was just bored looking for things to do. It did break above this little spot here. You know, I guess you could say also it held this prior breakout area. So last time it couldn't get through 455. This time maybe it tries, so that looks fine. Facebook was definitely stronger. It didn't have enough juice to really power through these highs, maybe a few inside days, and then it can continue. Twitter broke down a little bit more than I would have thought. You know, we talked about this wedge pattern building. It opened up, and then once it, you know, went back below the prior high of 66.87, that could have been your sell signal, and then it never found a friend the entire time. This is a pretty big, nasty bar where I guess if it doesn't hold this area, you know, I would say this is going to look for more downside. So we shall see. But as of right now, you know, this type of wide range bar typically leads to follow through. I don't think many people were trading it today, but it was definitely one of the weaker candidates, and you had some opportunities to sell some if you were long it from yesterday. So, you know, you shall see. So with all that being said, that was up 100 points, lots of different individual action. You know, things are still kind of erratic where, you know, you have everything's not created equal. You have Google, that was the unbelievable breakout trade, and then you have the Apple and just a price line that tried to turn around that the 50-day price line was better than Apple for now. You have Amazon that's Netflix had downside follow through, Facebook better than Twitter for now. You know, some of the banks are taking their turns. You have these one-off IPOs from last year that are going nuts. So really, if you're trading all day long and you're not a member of the VTF, you should get on there. Okay, guys are talking about ideas. You can see what we're buying. You can see what we're selling. We don't have all the time always to, you know, to tweet everything. It just doesn't happen, especially when we're trading and we're active. And in that first half hour when it really counts, you know, that's when we're trying to maneuver and trade the daily charts off the price action with what the futures are doing. So just want you to maximize your resources. And at this point, you have off the charts, you have the morning note, you have the VTF, and the 2014 thesis will be out on Thursday. I do apologize. I know every other year it's been out before. You know, the prior year, you know, I'm just a soldier on the field. It'll be out, and I'm sure you could find value in it, and there are ideas in there, and some have already triggered, which I've talked about. But you know, I do think there's a lot to learn from it, and there's definitely some ways where you'll be able to monetize, you know, the projections and just the process, because the key is the process, because predictions are only as good as you execute on them. So with that being said, have a great night. See you tomorrow morning. Stay warm. It's cold out there.
I'm Mark Sperling, Director of Trading with T3 Trading Group and contributor to T3 Live. Do you trade on your own, but you wish you enjoyed the benefits of a large trading floor? With the T3 Live virtual trading floor, we deliver that experience to you on your computer. On the VTF, you can follow the long and short positions of experienced professional traders like myself, Scott Redler, and others, and listen to our live radio stations as we navigate the markets. In addition, you get the added value of a large community of sophisticated and like-minded traders. In my opinion, joining the room will be the best trading decision you will ever make. I would like to invite you to begin your membership with a 7-day free trial. To get started, visit t3live.com and click on the Virtual Trading Floor tab. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in the VTF.